The day the aliens came was just like any other Tuesday for Ryan Collins. He woke up, ate cereal, and complained about his math homework. But by noon, every TV on Earth showed the same thing. A massive ship hanging in the sky above New York City. "Mom, look." Ryan pointed at the TV in the living room. His mother, Dr. Ellen Collins, was already on the phone, talking fast. "Yes, sir. I understand. We'll be there in an hour," she said, hanging up. She turned to Ryan with wide eyes. "Pack a bag, honey. We're going to New York." Ryan couldn't believe it. His mom was one of the top bug scientists in the country, a xenobiologist. She always corrected him. And now the government needed her help with actual aliens. Even better, they wanted her there so fast that she had to bring Ryan along. 3 hours later, their plane landed at a military base outside the city. Black cars took them straight to the United Nations building, where people rushed around like ants when their hill gets kicked. "Stay close," his mom said, gripping his hand as they walked through security checkpoints. They entered a large room where Ryan was told to sit in a special viewing area with other families. His mom kissed his forehead before joining a group of serious-looking scientists. "This is so cool," whispered a girl next to him. "I'm Lily. My dad works for NASA. I'm Ryan. My mom studies bugs." Lily raised an eyebrow. "Bugs? What's that got to do with aliens?" Before Ryan could answer, the room went quiet. The huge doors at the end opened, and in walked the strangest beings Ryan had ever seen. They looked like giant insects walking on 2 legs. Their bodies were covered in shiny armor that reflected the light in rainbow colors. Each alien stood nearly 7 feet tall, with 4 arms and heads shaped like elongated helmets. Their movements were smooth and precise, almost mechanical. The tallest alien stepped forward. His armor was darker than the others, with red markings that looked like lightning bolts. "I am High General Vexnar of the Zork Empire," the alien announced. His voice sounded like rocks in a blender, but everyone understood him perfectly. "We have observed your planet for many cycles. We come to offer you protection." The UN Secretary General stood up. "Welcome to Earth, High General. We are honored by your visit. What kind of protection do you offer?" Vexnar made a sound that might have been a laugh. "Protection from extinction. Your species is primitive. Your technology is basic. Without our help, you will not survive what is coming." The humans in the room shifted uncomfortably. Ryan leaned forward in his seat. He had a collection of beetles at home, and something about the alien's armor reminded him of his favorite rhinoceros beetle. "We have achieved peace among most nations," the Secretary General said. "Our technology advances every day." "Peace?" Vexnar interrupted. "Your planet has 17 active conflicts at this moment. As for your technology," he tapped his armor with one claw, "this battle suit has protected me through 100 engagements. Your strongest weapons would not scratch it." Ryan pulled out his notebook and began sketching the aliens. He noticed how their armor moved when they gestured, the pieces sliding together like puzzle parts. As the adults talked, Ryan's eyes never left the aliens. He drew their joints, the way their armor bent when they moved their arms. Something about it seemed familiar to him, like when he watched bugs in his backyard. "Mom studies this stuff all the time," he whispered to himself. "If bugs have weak spots in their shells, maybe these guys do too." By the end of the meeting, tensions were high. The Zork demanded Earth accept their protection within 2 days or face serious consequences. As everyone filed out, Ryan's mom found him still drawing. "What do you have there?" she asked, looking tired. Ryan showed her his sketches. "Their armor moves like bug shells," he said. She smiled and ruffled his hair. "That's interesting, honey. Now come on, we have a big day tomorrow." Ryan tucked his notebook away, his mind racing with ideas. The aliens might be scary, but he knew something important. Even the toughest shell has a weak spot. You just have to know where to look. The next morning, Ryan woke up in a fancy hotel room near the United Nations building. His mom was already dressed and on the phone again. "Yes, sir. We'll be there soon," she said, hanging up. "Hurry, Ryan. The aliens want to show something to our leaders." Ryan quickly got ready. He slipped his notebook and lucky marble into his pocket. His grandpa had given him the marble before he died last year. It was blue with swirls of green, like Earth seen from space. When they arrived at the UN, the building was surrounded by soldiers. Inside, everyone looked worried. Ryan and other families were led to the same viewing area as yesterday. His mom joined the scientists again. "I hear they're going to show off their weapons," Lily whispered when she sat next to him. Ryan frowned. "That's not good." The room fell silent as the Zorkai entered. High General Vexnar walked to the center of the room, his dark armor gleaming under the lights. "Humans of Earth," Vexnar began, his rough voice filling the room. "Yesterday we offered protection. Today we will show you why you need it." He waved one of his 4 arms, and a screen appeared in the air. It showed planets being destroyed by massive ships. "These worlds refused our help," Vexnar said. "Now they are gone." People gasped. Ryan saw his mom writing notes quickly. "But we are fair," Vexnar continued. "We will prove our power is real." He turned to the human military leaders. "Test our armor with your best weapons. If you can damage it, we will leave your world in peace." The U.S. general stood up. "We accept your challenge." For the next hour, the humans brought out different weapons. They fired bullets, lasers, and even something called a plasma cannon at a piece of Zorkai armor set up for testing. Nothing worked. The armor didn't even get warm. Ryan watched carefully. He noticed how the armor plates were connected, similar to the way a beetle's shell protected its body. In his notebook, he drew what he saw. When all the weapons failed, Vexnar laughed. It sounded like metal scraping on concrete. "As you see, we cannot be harmed by your primitive technology," he said. "Now, another demonstration." Vexnar pointed at the water glass on the Secretary General's table. Suddenly, the water rose into the air and formed a perfect sphere. "We control matter itself," Vexnar explained. "Our smallest ship could destroy your largest city in minutes." The room was so quiet Ryan could hear people breathing. "You have 48 hours to accept our protection," Vexnar announced, "or we will demonstrate our power less gently." As the aliens turned to leave, Ryan noticed something interesting. When Vexnar raised his upper right arm in a certain way, a tiny gap appeared between the armor plates near his shoulder. It happened so fast, most people wouldn't notice it. But Ryan, who spent hours watching insects move, saw it clearly. He quickly sketched what he saw. If the aliens' armor worked like bug shells, maybe that gap was important. When the meeting ended, people rushed around making phone calls. Ryan tried to show his mom what he discovered, but she was too busy. "Not now, honey," she said, joining a group of worried scientists. "Go back to the hotel with Ms. Peterson. I'll be there later." The assigned caretaker took Ryan and other children back to the hotel. On TV, everyone talked about the aliens and what would happen next. Ryan sat on his bed, looking at his drawings. The armor had a weakness, he was sure of it. He thought about his beetle collection at home. Even the strongest beetles had soft spots where their shell pieces connected. "They think they're so tough," Ryan whispered, rolling his lucky marble between his fingers. "But everyone has a weak spot." That night, as his mom worked late at emergency meetings, Ryan made a plan. Someone needed to show the world that the aliens weren't invincible. Why not him? Ryan couldn't sleep that night. His mind kept showing him pictures of the aliens' armor and the tiny gap he had seen. By morning, he had a new idea. He needed to see the aliens up close again. His mom left early for another meeting, telling him to stay in the hotel room. But Ryan had other plans. "I'm going to get some snacks," he told Miss Peterson, who was watching all the scientists' kids. "Be back in 15 minutes, she said, busy helping a crying toddler. Ryan took the elevator down and slipped out of the hotel. He knew the UN building was only 2 blocks away. He had his notebook, pencil, and lucky marble in his pocket. When he reached the UN, security was everywhere. People held signs that said things like "Welcome aliens" and "Go home space bugs." Ryan walked around the edge of the crowd until he reached the gardens on the side of the building. The garden had tall bushes and small trees where Ryan could hide. He crawled under a bench and waited. Soon, he saw what he was hoping for: 2 Zork guards standing near a side door. Ryan watched them for nearly an hour. The aliens stood very still most of the time, but every few minutes they would shift positions. When they moved, their armor plates slid against each other with tiny clicking sounds. Just like beetles adjusting their wing covers, Ryan whispered to himself, writing notes. He noticed that when they reached up with their upper arms, the same gap appeared that he had seen yesterday. A small opening near what would be a collarbone on humans. The gap only showed for a split second, but it was definitely there. Ryan drew pictures from different angles, trying to understand exactly how the armor worked. Suddenly, one of the aliens spoke into a device on his wrist. Both guards straightened up and performed what looked like a salute. They crossed their lower arms over their chest and raised their upper arms in a specific pattern. When they did this, the gap appeared again, slightly bigger this time. Ryan quickly drew the movement sequence in his notebook. "It's like when a beetle opens its shell to use its wings," he mumbled, thinking about his insect books at home. There has to be a connection point there that's not as strong. Just then, Ryan's phone vibrated. It was a text from his mom. "Where Ms. Peterson is worried sick." Ryan knew he was in trouble. He carefully backed away from his hiding spot and hurried back to the hotel. When he arrived, his mom was waiting in the lobby, looking upset. "Ryan Collins, do you know how dangerous it is to wander off right now? The whole world is in crisis," she scolded. "I'm sorry, Mom," Ryan said, "but I think I found something important about the aliens." His mom sighed. "Ryan, honey, this isn't a science project. The best minds on Earth are working on this problem." "But Mom, their armor has a weak spot. I saw it when they move a certain way. It's just like the joint gap in a beetle's shell." He tried to show her his notebook. She glanced at his drawings but was too distracted. "That's nice, honey, but I have to get back to work. Promise me you won't leave the hotel again." Ryan nodded, but inside he felt frustrated. No one was listening to him. That afternoon, he watched the news in the hotel room. World leaders were arguing about what to do. Some wanted to fight the aliens, others wanted to accept their demands. No one mentioned looking for weaknesses in their armor. Ryan looked at his drawings again. He was sure he was right about the gap, but how could he prove it? How could he make adults listen? As he thought about this, he remembered someone who might help: Officer Adam Garcia, a friendly security guard who had smiled at him during the meetings. Officer Garcia had given Ryan a piece of gum and told him to stay brave. "Maybe he'll listen to me," Ryan said to himself, forming a new plan in his mind. The next morning, Ryan knew he had only 1 day left before the aliens' deadline. He needed to find Officer Garcia and share his discovery. After breakfast, his mom took him to the UN building. "Stay with the other kids today," she said firmly. "No wandering off. Promise me, Ryan." "I promise," Ryan said, crossing his fingers behind his back. He felt bad about the lie, but this was too important. In the viewing area, Ryan waited until Ms. Peterson was busy helping another child. Then he slipped out through a side door. The hallways were full of important-looking people rushing around. Ryan spotted Officer Garcia standing near the elevator. The security guard looked tired, with dark circles under his eyes. "Officer Garcia." Ryan approached him. The man looked down and smiled. "Hey there, aren't you Dr. Collins' son?" "Ryan, right." Ryan nodded. "Can I talk to you about something important?" "It's about the aliens." Officer Garcia checked his watch. "I have a 5-minute break." "What's up, buddy?" Ryan pulled out his notebook. I think I found a weakness in their armor. Officer Garcia raised his eyebrows but listened as Ryan explained his observations about the gap that appeared when the aliens moved their arms in certain ways. See these drawings? Ryan pointed to his sketches. When they do their salute thing, there's a small gap right here. It's only open for a second, but it's definitely there. The security guard studied the drawings. That's some detailed observation, kid. But even if there is a gap, what good does it do us? We tried every weapon we have. Ryan reached into his pocket and pulled out his blue-green marble. I think something small and hard, hitting exactly the right spot at exactly the right moment, could break through. Officer Garcia laughed, then saw Ryan's serious face and stopped. You really believe this would work? Beetles have the same kind of weak spot, Ryan explained. Their shells are super strong, but the connection points can break if hit just right. I've seen it happen. The security guard scratched his chin. Look, kid, I appreciate your thinking. But, please, Ryan interrupted. No one else will listen. The deadline is tomorrow. What do we have to lose? Officer Garcia looked at Ryan's earnest face, then at the drawings again. After a long moment, he sighed. Oak, let's say I believe you. What exactly is your plan? Ryan smiled. I need to get close to them during the final meeting tomorrow, and I need you to help me. For the next 10 minutes, they talked in hushed voices. Officer Garcia would help Ryan get a good seat in the main hall for the final meeting. If an opportunity came to approach the aliens, he would create a distraction if needed. But Officer Garcia said firmly, if anything dangerous happens, you get back to safety immediately. Deal? Deal, Ryan agreed. Just then, Ryan's mom appeared around the corner, looking worried. Ryan, there you are. She hurried over. What did I tell you about wandering off? Sorry, Mom. Officer Garcia was just showing me the security badge readers. They're pretty cool. Ryan gave the guard a quick look. Officer Garcia nodded. Just giving him a little tour, Dr. Collins. Smart kid you've got here. His mom sighed. Well, it's time to go back to the hotel. The final meeting is tomorrow, and I need to prepare. As they walked away, Ryan looked back at Officer Garcia, who gave him a small nod. The plan was set. That night, Ryan could barely sleep. He practiced flicking his marble at different targets in the hotel room. He had to get it right. The world depended on it. On TV, people around the world waited in fear. Some prayed, some protested, some partied like it was the end of the world. Maybe it was. Ryan clutched his marble tightly in his hand. Tomorrow, he whispered. Tomorrow, we'll show them humans aren't as weak as they think. The final day arrived. The sun rose over New York City, but it looked different somehow. The Zork ship hanging in the sky cast a shadow over everything. Ryan wore his best clothes, khaki pants and a blue button-up shirt. His mom thought it was because he understood the seriousness of the day. Really, it was because the shirt had a pocket perfect for holding his marble. Ready to go? His mom asked, trying to smile despite her worry. When they arrived at the UN, the building was surrounded by even more security than before. Inside, world leaders sat with grim faces. The scientists, including Ryan's mom, huddled together reviewing notes and whispering. Officer Garcia was at his post by the main entrance. He gave Ryan a small nod. The plan was still on. I need to join the science team, his mom told Ryan. You'll sit with Ms. Peterson again, okay? Actually, Dr. Collins, Officer Garcia stepped forward. We've arranged special seating for immediate family members today. Ryan can sit in the front row of the viewing section. He'll be perfectly safe. Ryan's mom looked surprised but nodded. Oh, thank you, officer. As she walked away, Ryan whispered, thanks. Don't make me regret this, kid. Officer Garcia replied quietly. The viewing section was close to the main floor, separated only by a low barrier. Ryan sat down, heart beating fast. He touched the marble in his pocket, rolling it between his fingers. At exactly noon, the doors opened and the Zorkai entered. There were more of them today. At least 20 aliens in their shiny armor. High General Vexnar walked to the center of the room. Humans of Earth, his rough voice boomed. Your time to decide has ended. What is your answer? The Secretary General stood up. He looked tired and defeated. High General, we request more time to consider your offer. Our world has many nations, many voices. We need to reach consensus. Vexnar made that scraping laugh sound again. Time is a luxury you do not have. Your weapons cannot harm us. Your technology is primitive. Your choices are simple. Accept our protection or face destruction. To demonstrate his point, Vexnar raised his upper arms, and a small object floated up from a case carried by another alien. It hovered in the air, glowing with blue light. This device could level your largest city with the touch of a button, Vexnar said. Need I provide a demonstration? The room fell silent. Ryan saw his chance. He stood up suddenly. Excuse me, he called out, his voice cracking a little. Everyone turned to look at him. His mom's face went pale. Ryan, sit down, she hissed from across the room. But the High General tilted his head curiously. The human offspring wishes to speak. This is unusual. Ryan swallowed hard. I just wanted to see your armor up close. It's so amazing. We don't have anything like it on Earth. The aliens looked at each other. Vexnar seemed amused. A curious young one. Perhaps there is hope for your species yet. He gestured with one arm. Approach, small human. You may observe Zorkai greatness before your leaders make their choice. The human delegates looked shocked. Ryan's mom tried to rush forward but was stopped by security. Ryan walked slowly toward Vexnar, feeling everyone's eyes on him. Officer Garcia moved casually to a position near the aliens, hand on his weapon. Standing before the towering alien, Ryan looked up at the gleaming armor. It was even more impressive up close, with swirling patterns etched into the metal. Your armor is beautiful, Ryan said, and he meant it. Can I see how it moves? Can you show me the Zorkai salute I saw your guards do? Vexnar seemed flattered. You wish to learn our ways. Very well. The High General straightened to his full height and began the formal salute, crossing his lower arms over his chest, then raising his upper arms in a specific pattern. Ryan watched carefully, his hand slipping into his pocket. His fingers closed around the marble. Now, he whispered to himself. Time seemed to slow down as High General Vexnar performed the Zorkai salute. The room was completely silent. Ryan watched the alien's movements with total focus, waiting for the perfect moment. First, Vexnar crossed his lower arms over his chest. Then he began to raise his upper arms in a sweeping motion. As the arms moved upward, Ryan saw it, the tiny gap appearing between the armor plates near what would be the collarbone. In one smooth motion, Ryan pulled out his blue-green marble, aimed, and flicked it with all his strength. The marble shot through the air like a bullet, hitting the exact spot where the gap had opened. For a second, nothing happened. Then came a sound like cracking glass. A thin line appeared in Vexnar's armor, starting from where the marble had hit. The crack spread quickly, creating a web-like pattern across the chest plate. The High General froze mid-salute. The other aliens stared in shock. Suddenly, pieces of the supposedly unbreakable armor began falling to the floor with sharp metallic sounds. They shattered like glass when they hit the ground. Within moments, a large section of Vexnar's chest armor lay in pieces at his feet. The room erupted in gasps. Ryan stood still, hardly believing what he had just done. Vexnar looked down at his broken armor, then at Ryan. The alien's true body was visible now through the gap. A pale blue skin covered in something like soft scales. Impossible, Vexnar said, his voice no longer sounding confident. Our armor has withstood plasma cannons and gravity weapons. How did you? Ryan found his voice. Beetles, he said simply. Beetles. The alien tilted his head in confusion. Earth insects. Their shells work like your armor. They're super strong but have weak connection points. I saw the same gap in your armor when you did that salute." The room remained silent, everyone too shocked to speak. Ryan's mom had her hands over her mouth, her eyes wide. Vexnar turned to the other aliens, clicking and hissing in their own language. They seemed agitated, moving their arms rapidly and looking at Ryan. Finally, Vexnar faced the human leaders again. "This has never happened before," he admitted. "No species has ever found a weakness in Zorkai battle armor. And to be discovered by a child, using a primitive projectile." The Secretary General found his voice. "It appears we humans have some skills that your scans didn't detect, High General." Vexnar looked at Ryan again. "What is your name, young human?" "Ryan Collins," he answered, his voice steadier now. "Ryan Collins," Vexnar repeated, the strange name sounding odd in his rough voice. "You have done something today that the greatest warriors in the galaxy could not do." He paused. "You have shown us that we have underestimated your species." One of the other aliens stepped forward, speaking urgently to Vexnar in their language. The High General nodded slowly. "We must reconsider our approach to Earth," Vexnar announced. "It seems there is more to learn about humans than our initial scans indicated." Ryan's mom finally broke through the security line and rushed to her son, pulling him into a tight hug. "Are you okay?" she whispered. "I'm fine, Mom," Ryan said. "I told you their armor had a weak spot." Officer Garcia caught Ryan's eye from across the room and gave him a thumbs up. The Secretary General stepped forward. "Does this mean your ultimatum is withdrawn, High General?" Vexnar looked at his shattered armor on the floor, then at Ryan. "Yes," he said finally. "We will withdraw to our ship and reassess. It seems we have much to discuss. As equals." The room burst into applause and cheers. Someone shouted Ryan's name, and soon everyone was chanting it. Ryan felt his face turning red with embarrassment. His mom hugged him tighter. "I'm so proud of you," she said, tears in her eyes. "But also, you're grounded for a month for not listening to me." Ryan grinned. Worth it. The days after what people now called the Marble Incident were busy ones for Ryan. News channels around the world wanted to interview him. The president called to thank him personally. His school principal announced that they would get a day off in his honor. 2 weeks after the meeting, Ryan sat in a special room at the UN building. The walls were decorated with both human and Zorkai symbols. His mom sat beside him, looking proud but still a little nervous. "Remember," she whispered, "just be yourself." The doors opened and High General Vexnar entered, followed by several other aliens. Their armor looked different now, redesigned with no visible gaps. But Vexnar wore something new on his chest plate, a small blue-green circle that looked like Ryan's marble. "Ryan Collins," Vexnar said, his voice softer than before. "We meet again." Ryan stood up. "Hello, High General." Vexnar gestured to a table where human and alien leaders were gathering. "Please, join us. Your input is valued at this historic meeting." It felt strange to sit at such an important table, but Ryan tried to look confident. His mom gave his hand a quick squeeze under the table. The Secretary General opened the meeting. "Today marks the first official diplomatic talks between Earth and the Zorkai Empire, and we have Ryan Collins to thank for this opportunity." Vexnar nodded. Indeed, young Ryan taught the Zorkai an important lesson. He turned to face Ryan directly. "Our empire has conquered many worlds. We believed our technology made us superior. But you showed us that true strength comes from observation and understanding, not just power." Ryan felt his face getting warm. "I just noticed something that adults missed." "Precisely," said Vexnar. "Children on many worlds see things that others cannot. Yet only on Earth are they encouraged to speak these observations." He touched the marble symbol on his chest. "This is now the mark of the Zorkai Science Guild. It reminds us to look closer, to see what might be missed." The meeting continued with talks about trade, cultural exchange, and technology sharing. The Zork would help Earth prepare for dangers in space, while humans would teach them about Earth's unique ways of thinking. When the formal part ended, Vexnar approached Ryan again. "I have something for you." He handed Ryan a small box. Inside was a perfect copy of Ryan's marble, but it glowed with soft blue light. "This contains all knowledge of Zorkai insect-like species," Vexnar explained. "For Earth's first xenoentomologist." Ryan looked confused. "What's a xenoentomologist?" His mom smiled. "Someone who studies alien insects. A title you just invented, apparently." Later that day, as they walked through the UN garden, his mom asked, "How does it feel to save the world?" Ryan thought about it. "Weird. I just did what I'm good at, watching bugs." "That's the thing about being human," she said. "Our strength isn't having the biggest weapons or the toughest armor. It's seeing things differently, making connections others miss." Over the next few months, Earth changed. Zork ships became common sights in the sky. Alien technology helped clean Earth's oceans and air. Human creativity inspired new Zorkai art and music. Ryan started a special school program for kids interested in xenobiology. His first class had over 100 students from around the world. One day, a year after the marble incident, Ryan walked through a new museum exhibit about Earth-Zorkai relations. He stopped at a display case containing his original blue-green marble, with a sign that read, "Sometimes the smallest objects can change the universe when placed in the right hands at the right moment." Ryan smiled. He wasn't just a kid anymore. He was Earth's first xenoentomologist, the boy who showed an alien empire that humans weren't as weak as they thought. And it all started with a marble and some beetle books. The end.